Hey, what's up you guys? It's your girl Gigi back with another video, and this time it is a story time. So I'm going to tell you guys the story of this crazy experience that I had in which someone used my artistic talent and refused to pay me, and it turned into a whole debacle. So let's get some housekeeping out of the way. So this happened with a girl that I was friends with, that I went to school with. We're no longer friends. And for the sake of this video, I'm gonna name her like Katie or something, because she's kind of basic. Anyway, I'm gonna name her Katie. Katie and I were friends. We got along pretty well. There were like some things that she did that were like a little bit questionable, but like I'm not someone that really judges people's life choices. Obviously it was her life and she made decisions that she wanted to make, and all I could do as her friend was just like support her. And I was always supportive no matter how crazy or how weird things were in her life. So basically this girl was getting married, and she asked me to be the wedding photographer for her wedding. And if you know anything about wedding photography, it is very, very expensive. It can be upwards of like $800 to like $1,000 for a whole wedding, including, or not even including videography, I think. So she asked me to be the wedding photographer for her wedding, and I was already invited, of course. And at first I was kind of like, oh yeah, like maybe I'll do it, you know, like I wanted to like help her like save money and stuff, because she was spending a lot of money out of pocket for this wedding. So I was like, maybe, you know, like I kind of was like, sure, but like I kind of have this tendency to like accept things before I've like fully thought of them, because I'm just trying to be like too nice. So I said yes before I was really sure. So then after thinking about it a little bit, I was like, you know, like I kind of don't really want to spend this entire wedding just like taking photos. I kind of just want to enjoy it, and like I'm not a professional photographer by any means, so I was kind of just like, I'd rather not have that huge responsibility. So I talked to her about it, and she was kind of just like,
oh well, we would really like appreciate it or whatever, and I can pay you, and it'll be really quick. I just need you to take pictures of like the wedding party and stuff.
And I was like, okay. And I think when we talked about this, it was like in person, and she had agreed to pay me like $200 to do the videography and the photography for the wedding. And I was like, okay, because at the time I really needed money. So I was like, okay, like I'll do it for the sake of the money. And if it's not me having to take pictures throughout the whole time, so like pictures of guests and stuff, like that's fine, like I'll just do that. So fast forward to the day of the wedding, I was staying with her and her whole like bachelorette party. We got ready together. It was a lot of fun, you know. I like met a lot of her friends and stuff. And then it came time to the actual wedding, obviously, which was so stressful, and I was not briefed on what exactly needed to happen in order for me to be the photographer and videographer for this occasion. So it was kind of like a huge like scramble when it actually came to doing it, and I was like not in the best mood, because I didn't get any heads up of what exactly was happening, and the wedding was basically starting, and I didn't hear from the bride or anyone. So I was just like sitting like in the, what are they called? I was sitting like in like the pews or whatever. It wasn't in a church, but like I was just sitting with like the rest of the guests, like not expecting to really have to do anything, because she didn't talk to me about it anymore. So I was kind of just like, oh, like maybe, I don't know what I thought. So then somebody came and like shoved a camera in my hands and was like, do your thing. And I was kind of like this isn't enough direction, but like, okay. So I filmed the whole thing. I took pictures of the whole wedding party when it was over. Like it was fine. It was fun. They appreciated it. Honestly, I wouldn't say it's my best work of photography, because again, I am not a professional photographer. And especially for wedding photos, that's like such a specific thing. Like I do not do that. So personally, I didn't think it was my best work. Fast forward to about 2 weeks after the wedding. My friend Katie had just come back from her honeymoon, and we worked in the same place. So she was like telling me everything that happened in the honeymoon or whatever, and I chose to bring up the payment for my part in the wedding, so doing the photography and the videography. And she was kind of just like,
oh, I'll like get on that or something,
like in person when we were talking about it. And then there was like this whole like weird thing where like she chose to like message me like on Snapchat, and she basically like came at my neck and was like, how dare you ask for money for this wedding? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you promised me the money. And she basically like tried to make it about something that it was not. Like, first of all, she denied that she ever said that she was going to pay me, and I was like, I literally did it for the payment. Like, what do you mean? Like, I came to you originally when you first asked me and was like, no. And then once you said that you were going to pay me, that's when I was like, okay, like, I'll do it because I need the money. And then she was like, you saying that just proves that you're not a real friend, or like you're not a good friend because so-and-so did this for the wedding and so-and-so did that for the wedding and they didn't ask for any type of payment. And I was like, what does what someone else contributed to your wedding have to do with what you and I are talking about? You offered me this payment, and that's why I did it. You hired me for a job. What so-and-so did for free has nothing to do with me because you didn't discuss payment with them. So what does that have to do with me? And it was really frustrating because she was trying to deny it. She was calling me out my name, saying I was a bad friend or whatever. And she tried to like justify her like anger at me asking for money that she owed me by bringing up the fact that I like had like a hookup at her wedding. And mind you, like, this was like, oh my god, like, not saying I completely regret it because like honestly, like, looking back, it was just dumb. And like, I mean, I guess I like wouldn't have done it now, but like at the same time I'm like grateful because it kind of removed this girl Katie and like all of those people out of my life, and like my life is so much better and so much more fruitful without her. But like, she basically tried to be like, you hooked up with this person and it caused all this drama at my wedding, and now you have the gall to like ask me for payment or whatever. And I was like, first of all, she had been trying to get me to hook up with this person for months. When I tell you 4 months, remember when I said that we went to the same school? Anytime that this person came to our school, she was always trying to be like,
oh, he thinks you're cute. Oh, you should give him a chance.
And I was like, no, like, no offense, but I was just like not into it, like, ever before the wedding. And the only reason why I even did it at the wedding was because I was like having fun, like everybody was chill, like I was drunk, you know, like it was a wedding, and like that's such like a normal thing to happen at a wedding, you know what I mean? But that was like my very first experience with doing that, and clearly like it was the wrong time to do that. But whatever, like I don't regret doing that because that has nothing to do with the fact that she didn't want to pay me. So yeah, she made it about that. She made it about me being a bad friend. She made it about all these other things. She was like, I just came back from my honeymoon and I spent so much money, and I was like, that still has nothing to do with me. Like, what does that have to do with me? You chose to go on your honeymoon. That was the payment that you were going to pay for me was something that we discussed prior to your honeymoon. You knew what kind of cost you were going to pay. I really don't understand why you're coming up with all these excuses to not pay me. And then at the end, she basically was just like,
I talked to my now husband about it, and he's just like, can't believe that you're serious, especially after all the drama that happened at the wedding, and we just don't know if we want to continue being friends with you after this.
And I was just like, you know what? I don't need to be your friend. Like, over $200, you're causing all of this. Like, it just made no sense to me because it was like, to be honest, it seemed like she knew from the jump that she wasn't going to pay me, and she was just shook that I like asked her about it, you know what I mean? Or maybe she forgot that she said that. I don't know. I really wish that we had this in writing. I know for the future that I will get something like this in writing because I'm not gonna let somebody take advantage of me and my artistic talent in that way ever again, and especially try to like paint me out to be like this horrible like homewrecker, like terrible person. And like, she also brought up the fact that like her and her whole family were like super hospitable to me like during the whole wedding or whatever, which I was so grateful for. Like, I didn't ask your relatives to spend hundreds of dollars getting all of us drinks. I in fact protested that like very harshly, you know what I mean? So like, it just felt like a slap in the face because we had been friends for maybe like a year. Actually, at that point, I think we had been friends for almost like 2 years or something. So it really just felt like a slap in the face that like she would try to call me out of my character and out of my name just because I asked her to rightfully pay me for something that she offered, you know? Like, if we had never discussed the payment and if I had just agreed to do it for free, I don't think that she would have thrown any of this stuff in my face. And that to me just like proved like how fake she was from the jump, because she did all these things for me. I didn't ask for any of them, but like clearly she was doing them because she felt like I would owe her after that, you know? And to be honest, I'm so glad to be out of that situation and not friends with this person anymore. Like, she took the liberty of like blocking me on everything. It was never that deep to me, honestly. Like, I probably would have continued to be at least cordial or just like acquaintances with her after this, but she took the liberty of like blocking me on everything, even blocked my friend that went to the wedding with me or whatever. And I was like,
damn, Ma, is that serious?
but I'm like so grateful because she was not a good person. She was like racist a little bit. I know everyone's gonna be like, how do you always deal with these racists? But like somehow I always get like, I always have experiences with like people that are very like microaggression-y racist. Her whole family was like high-key pretty racist, and like I should have seen something like this coming sooner than it actually did. But like I always just try to see the best in people, and that's truly like my downfall, because then I get myself into situations like this. But like, to be honest, I have no regrets about this situation. It really taught me a lesson about trusting people, trusting the wrong people, trusting the right people, dealing with racists. Like, I don't know how, like I always deal with these people, but like, I don't know, our friendship was fun while it lasted, you know. We didn't really have a strong basis to begin with. We basically were just like party friends, and she would just vent to me all the time. And I think that our friendship really was one-sided, you know what I mean? Like, sure, like I valued her as a person, but now that like I've seen her true colors, like I have no regrets or any intentions of ever reconnecting with her ever again. So yeah, that's basically the story. If you guys have ever dealt with somebody that has tried to take advantage of you in any way, specifically too if it was like in an artistic type of way like this, because I feel like artists always deal with people trying to get freebies out of us because we're friends or family or whatever, which is so messed up. Pay for your friends' art, please. Pay your friends. We need it, please. I have so many more crazy story times, especially of people taking advantage of me. So if you want to hear more story times, I have so many more to tell. So please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.